Pastor Isaac Olatunji has reacted to the video published by Pastor Mark Howard concerning the issue of Pastor Ron Kelly. We thought the issue was dying, but Pastor Mark Howard's video has brought it back to life. And friends, he was trying to defend the Michigan conference. Like, you saw the video, right? You saw the video. Now, I believe Pastor Ron Kelly will also put out a video one day on his channel explaining his side of the story, because we don't know the whole story. All right, we don't know the whole story. And Pastor Mark Howard actually said, I think 2 days ago, that Pastor Ron Kelly was placed on administrative leave because he was not willing to take action against Pastor Conrad Vine. Now, as I said, Pastor Isaac Olatunji has reacted to the video published by Pastor Mark Howard. And let's go ahead and listen to how Pastor Isaac Olatunji reacted to the video published by Pastor Howard. And after that, I'll come back and add my thoughts. All right, let's get into it, friends.
Now, I listened to the video and I listened to the whole thing. And this is not the first time that I ever heard somebody give a different side of the story that really kind of makes Ron Kelly look like the villain in this situation. And that this is the reason why. Now, one thing I will admit, at least the guy told me why, or at least the guy in the video talked about why he was put on administrative leave, because he didn't do what the conference wanted him to do, which was to discipline Conrad Vine. Okay, all right, granted. Okay, now here's the thing. Now, I was very shocked to hear that. But what happens is, let's put our thinking caps on. Okay, let's put our thinking caps on. Now, this is not a full reactionary video. I'm just going to talk for a few minutes and I'm just going to get me some sleep. If that was the case, okay, he got received orders from the brethren. You need to go and have a business meeting, and you need to discipline Conrad Vine and strip him of all his positions or whatever and censor him. That would take the majority vote of the church. That would mean bringing the charges and bringing it up, showing the man where he's wrong doctrinally, morally, ethically, ecclesiologically, and all that kind of stuff. And then there would have to have been a motion, number one. Is there a motion that we discipline Conrad Vine? Now, in order for a motion to be moved, first of all, it has to be called by the chairman. If the chairman calls it, which the implication was that he would have had to have done it based on the orders, based on this video that this Pastor Howard talked about, there would have to be a motion so moved. And it had to be a second. And of course, question, discussion, and then you go to a vote. But what happened is this right here. Just looking at the videos at the meeting that the conference president had with their church, I could tell you, as a Seventh-day Adventist pastor that have chaired board meetings, business meetings, that I question whether there would have been a motion to even move it. Even if it would have been moved, I question whether it had been a second. Even if it had been a second to do a vote, that thing would have been overwhelmingly voted down, and Conrad Vine would not have been disciplined. Conrad Vine would not have been stripped of his positions. And then it is what it is. That's if what this man said in this video was the case. Brothers and sisters, that's how things work in the Adventist church. It's not just, okay, do we vote this man out? All those that say yay or nay, raise your hand. No, you got to put a motion. You got to call for a motion by the chair first, and it has to be seconded. I doubt if it would have been a motion on it. If people know about parliamentary procedure based on General Conference rules of order. But even if it would have went to a second, even if it would have went to a vote all the way, that man would not, they would have not voted to put him out. Brothers and sisters, we're living in a time, and is this saying that I agreed with everything that Dr. Vine said on his comments? No, it's not saying that, because I had a personal conversation with him myself by text. I was in Jamaica and I texted him. I said, look here, I want to give you some feedback based on your statements. And what I told him in essence was, because he is my brother in Christ and he is my friend. And I said, look, even if a conference, say if this conference over here is completely woke, but yet in that conference you have a church that's standing firm for truth. If the tithe was to go to that local church in that woke conference, then the conference as woke would get the tithe anyway. I presented things like that to him, and he understood it, and he took it in good stride, and we had a good conversation, and that's the end of it. But what happens is that the man in this video, I will give him credit. He said that what he said was his opinion. He think that the church he should have been disciplined. But let me tell you this right here. Village SDA Church was not going to discipline Conrad Vine because the Michigan Conference president wanted Ron Kelly to do so. If this is what Mr. Howard is saying is correct. And them saying if, because we don't know the whole story. And my whole point is just looking at the business in the town hall meeting. If this what Howard said was the case, then the president should have put all that out there before the people right then and there. But I didn't hear it. So what happens is I have question about some things here. So I'm just going to let this thing alone with them and let them handle it out. But let me tell you this: should Dr. Conrad Vine be disciplined? The answer is absolutely not. There are leaders in the general conference, divisions, unions, local conferences, institutions, hospitals, colleges, schools, classrooms, and churches, leaders, I'm talking about lay people, who have said a whole bunch of stuff that to me was of a more weightier matter than what Conrad Vine said, to where he clearly made it very plain that he is not talking about it. And he confirmed this with me. And for those who are close to me that feel otherwise, you go call Conrad Vine. You have a conversation, man, like I had a conversation, and you could ask him these questions and give him some feedback. At least I did that. So I'm talking from personal experience, talking to the brother. I tell you, it's what it is. Let me just get off of that. But bottom line is this right here. I don't believe that. Yeah, going back to what I'm saying, that have said weightier matters. I'm not going to get into names, not going to get into speeches or sermons or classroom lecture discussions and stuff like that. And yeah, a few like Desmond Ford and others were dealt with, but there's a whole plethora of them who are doing things and saying things to destroy confidence in the Adventist message, in the Bible, the writings of Ellen White, that never get dealt with. We don't hear about conferences telling these pastors and these people are members of that you need to deal with that person. You need to put them on church censure. And some of them never get terminated. And it's just so prevalent. We can do a roll call of things and nothing never happens. Do you understand this? And it goes back to what the spirit of prophecy says, or what would happen in these last days when it comes to this. And just looking at it, because I listened to the whole thing again, I said, maybe there's a silver bullet that, bam, this thing is gonna just, Kelly's Ron Kelly is the villain, and Conrad Vine is the sub villain. But I still have not seen it. What this looks like, I'm not saying what it is. What this looks like is what Ellen White says. It's called high-handed power. The high-handed power that has been developed as though position has made men gods makes me afraid and ought to cause fear. It is a curse wherever and by whomever it is exercised. This lording it over God's heritage will create such a disgust of man's jurisdiction. Not that I'm in favor of this now. I'm not in favor of this. That a state of insubordination will result. So what happens is this right here. I'm seeing comments saying this is going to make the situation worse. It's going to add more fuel to the fire and stuff like that. And I have to agree with it, because the way that looking at the video, and maybe one day this week or next week, I'll just do a full blown just critique of the video. I'm not saying critique good or bad, but just critiquing it. I hear what the brother was saying. I understand where he's coming from, but that's just his opinion, and that's not fact. And the quotations that were used in this video does not apply to Conrad Vine. It is a stretch. And when he said at the end that, trying to imply statements where Ellen White calls the church Babylon and connecting it to Conrad Vine statements, when I know and many of you know that he does not believe that the Seventh-day Adventist Church is Babylon, is a stretch, brothers and sisters. But you know what? It's a free world. People can put whatever video they want whether I agree with it or not. But I had to say this. I'm saying this as an ordained SDA minister, just being fair to the situation. If Conrad Vine made a mistake, if he was wrong, if it was not correct, brothers and sisters, I've heard much worse by people who work in the Adventist church. This man works for self-supporting ministry. This man is a elder of the church. And if the village church, most likely, in my opinion, because anybody, we could do a poll. How many of you, if this would have been brought before village at a business meeting, would Conrad Vine been disciplined? The answer would have been overwhelmingly no. Maybe a couple of people may have said it, but brothers and sisters, it would not have happened. So if the church was not going to do it, then what would be the next step? Would it be to disband the church and let all the names go to the conference church in the conference office, and then at an executive committee, then they can do that? That would probably been the only thing they could have did. But all that's doing is creating more problems.
All right, friends, that was Pastor Isaac Olatunji and his reaction to the video published by Pastor Mark Howard. And I want to say that people have said that what Pastor Mark Howard actually did, that is by publishing a video in an attempt to defend the Michigan Conference, was just going to add fuel to the fire. And I agree with those that said that, because friends, the issue was dying. The issue was dying, and all of a sudden this video came up and the issue is up again. As Pastor Isaac Olatunji said, there are certain things that have been said by some pastors, some top pastors. There are certain things that have been done by some pastors that are even weightier than what Pastor Conrad Vine said. And people are going to bring them to light and see how the conference leaders are going to deal with those issues. If you have been on YouTube, I think from yesterday, people have started bringing up Ganun Diop. People have started bringing up what Pastor Ted Wilson said some time ago. People have started bringing up some some errors of some pastors. Like, I don't know. Oh, friends, this is serious. All right, so I want to know what you think in the comments. Share your thoughts in the comments about the issue. Share your thoughts about what Pastor Mark Howard said yesterday. Share your thoughts about what Pastor Olatunji also has said in reaction to the video published by Pastor Mark Howard. All right. Well, this is where I will end for today. Thanks for watching. My name is Lawrence. See you next time. God bless.